I'm sure you've seen in movies and television shows characters that are completely emotionally committed to a scene, and they're crying or weeping or laughing or just full of joy or nervous anxiety, all these emotions, right? And you're like, how is that person doing that? That person is completely believable in that moment. And a lot of young actors think, well, they're just good at accessing their emotions and they can cry on command. And there's an aspect to that. But in this class, we're going to go a lot deeper than just being able to have emotions on stage. We're going to have to do some practical study of the scenes. We've done some reading already on acting techniques, and we've talked about representational versus presentational acting. Presentational acting being the style that we're going to work on in this class. In this style, you go into the inner life of the character and find a physical expression to convey what's going on internally. The other method, representational acting, being seeing something that is interesting, a movement, a gesture, and trying to mimic that in hope of conveying the same message that you received. So the one that we're going to focus on, though, is finding that inner life and finding an external way to communicate that. So how do we do that? How do we go into the internal life? It starts with imagination. And imagination, let me pull up Wikipedia here. Imagination is the ability to produce and simulate novel objects, peoples, and ideas in the mind without any immediate input of the senses. It is also described as the forming of experiences in one's mind, which can be recreations of past experiences, such as vivid memories, with imagined changes. Or they can be completely invented and possibly fantastic scenes. But what's really interesting is further on down the page, it says, imagination, however, is not considered to be exclusively a cognitive activity. Because it is also linked to the body and place, particularly that it involves setting up relationships with materials and people, precluding the sense that imagination is locked away in the head. So this definition is great because you start to see that imagination isn't just something that you have to sit there and concentrate in the head, but you can actually take in the senses, take in what's around you, the different objects in the room, the different people you're relating to, and your imagination will start to work. And that is exactly what we're going to do in this first exercise, the basic object exercise. One of the other things you have to consider is that identity chapter and thinking about what our identity is. We think we know who we are, but so often when you get yourself in a situation that you think you know how you're going to act, you act completely different. So often we don't exactly know who we are, and we're constantly changing. Who I am in front of my mother is very different from who I am in front of my boss or who I am in front of my best friend. I change a little bit and adjust to have this relationship to this other object or other person. And other spaces. Who I am in Philadelphia is different from who I am in New York City, and who I am in Chicago, or who I am out in the woods somewhere camping. So we're going to take these explorations of identity and place, and we're going to have to play make-believe. Now, we've all played make-believe as kids, pretending we're superheroes or pretending that the floor is lava. I've been into that show on Netflix, by the way. Or pretending there's monsters outside of the fort you built as a kid. But somewhere along the way, we lost that ability to believe in our imagination. And when you're kids, you're completely committed to that. And so I consider belief to be the commitment to your imagination, the focus to play with all the things that are happening in your mind, and that things that you are creating, and allow those things to take place inside of you. So those are some pointers. Move on to the next video, and you're going to get some more specifics about how to go about practicing your basic object exercise.